Oh, I am changing. How many people feel like that? Right? How many people feel like you are in a change process? Right? How many people feel like things are changing, right? Life is changing. We are all being changed by what is happening in the world and happening in our world. Something else. Yeah. All right. So today is the last talk with the theme, the art of personal agency. Y'all remember that? Yeah. So we've been talking about that for the whole month, the art of personal agency, and really talking about personal agency. How do you get into the driver's seat in your life? Right? How do you begin to be choiceful, be mindful, be conscious in the decisions that you're making? Because if you don't make decisions about your life, others will, right? And so it's really important to feel and sense and know that we have the power within ourselves to make choices, to co-create our lives, to move forward despite all of the changes that are happening. And so today, the final talk in this series is called Lead Your Life. Lead Your Life. And so one of the things that I love in the work that I do, and especially in my corporate work, is that I work with leaders. I work with leaders in Fortune companies. And typically we're working on them, some aspects of their leadership related to influencing others, right? How do I lead a team? I might have an executive who's brilliant, a brilliant tech executive, but doesn't have maybe the emotional intelligence or the people skills to actually influence others. And when you're a leader, you have to influence others. That's how you get work done, right? And so one of the things I always think about is how important it is to be able to lead yourself. Right? Typically, we think about leadership development as, oh, someone has to have a team, or they have to have they have some big job, or they have a title. And today, what I want you to think about is you being the leader of your own life. And the same skills, the same tools, the same things I work with my executives on are the exact things that in life coaching also give you personal agency, right? Give you the ability to co-create your life. And so I really want to talk about some of this stuff today because we are made to be the captains of our own fate. We are made to co-create with Spirit exactly the lives we want to live, right? And even beyond that, beyond our ability to know. Like, that is why we're here. So as I think about our 6-month anniversary here, first of all, it's gone by so fast. Like, it feels like it's gone by so fast, and it also feels like we've been together forever, right? In the best ways, not like, oh my God, right? Not like that way. But it feels like we've been together for a long time, but it feels also like it's just a blip since January 19th, you know? So it's really amazing. But here's the thing that's becoming more and more clear to me, and I say this, but I'm really starting to see what that means. We are a startup spiritual community. We're a startup, right? So what Joni was referencing, starting in my house, like literally I'm doing everything from my dining room table right now, right? Because we don't have a space. I don't have an office. So I have a desk in my bedroom. That's my private office. And then I have my conference room, which is the dining room table, right? And so the whole summit, this global summit, got done from there, from those two places. And well, this is what you do in a startup, right? You're either in a garage or a bedroom. You're somewhere in the house, right? And so the other thing I want us to know about us is a startup takes a certain kind of person. It's not for everybody. Being a startup is a walk of faith in the sense that you are literally birthing something. You are bringing something from the invisible to the visible, right? That's what we are doing with this center. We're coming from this sort of fallow ground, this open space, this idea that is Silicon Valley Center for Spiritual Living. And we are birthing community, right? We are birthing community, and our family isn't even fully here yet, right? Our family's not even here yet. But this is what a startup does. A startup is a walk of faith where you all said, you know what? I want to be a part of this. I want to be in the ground floor, and I want to swing for the fences and go for this, right? Because we all share this vision that the teachings of the science of mind, which basically say that we each have personal agency, right? That there is a power for good in the universe and we can use it. And that this power created each of us out of itself and it operates through us. That we each have equal access to it. It is always available to us, right? And so we can then begin to shift our lives and create our lives based on what we think, what we believe, the stories we tell, right? And we all believe that, and we all share, because I've had conversations with each of you, we all share this desire for this to be more known and practiced in the world, right? We all share this desire to create a better world, to create a world that works for everyone using these principles that are absolute truth principles. And so it takes a special person to be a part of a startup because there's no security, right? There's no history, right? There's no comfort in the sense of, there's lots of community things and events and all these things that are very established. A startup is a very different thing, right? We're in a hotel room that we are, on some Sundays it's clear we're outgrowing it. Yes, our energy is certainly outgrowing it. And it's a temporary space because we're a startup. And it takes a special person to want to be involved at that level. So even though you are congratulating me on the summit and what happened in the summit, and I appreciate that and I accept that, I also want you to know that I acknowledge you at this 6-month anniversary. Because it takes a lot to be a part of something that is unknown. It takes a lot to get in the car and not know where you're going, right? No matter how much you trust the driver, it takes a lot to get in a car and believe someone's vision that they know where they're going, right? And each of you has said yes. Each of you has said, I believe this. Yes, I'm here. I'm committed to this. And so I want you to acknowledge yourself on this 6-month anniversary that you jumped in and we're all on the bus together, just going down the road, So it's a beautiful thing. And so when I think about leading your life, right, leading your life, there are these 4, what I'm calling the 4 powers of leading your life, because these are the things I work with my clients on and I think are very important for personal leadership. So the first thing a great leader has to do, whether you're leading your life or leading an organization or leading your family or leading your coaching practice, the first thing you need is a vision. You need a vision of where are you going, right? What is possible? You need an inspiring vision. You need something that's going to ignite you. You need something that's going to stretch you, right? If it doesn't terrify you, it's not big enough. And I got to tell you, in launching Silicon Valley, I have had my nights where I am gripped with fear. The middle of the night, I am gripped with fear going, oh my God, what am I doing? What are we doing? Where it's just a natural occurrence. In producing this summit, which was so incredible, I literally had nights where I was just in a cold sweat going, oh my God, what if nobody shows up? Or what if all this stuff happens? Or like all the disasterizing, catastrophizing that happens. That's part of the process, right? And so I know myself well enough to know, just keep going, right? Just take a deep breath, do your spiritual work, and keep going. It's part of the process. But what I want to invite you into for your life is, what is your vision for your life, right? What is possible for you? And to think about vision in terms of if you could wave, this is what I say to my clients, if you could wave a magic wand, right, and have it any way you want it, how do you want it, right? Don't think about how it's going to happen, because so many times we don't dare to have a bold vision because we don't know how it can happen, right? Or we see all these things in the way and we think, well, this would have to happen, that would have to happen for me to go after this thing. So now I want you to do this for yourself, to take a magic wand and look at your life, and what is your vision for your life, right? What is your vision? What is your big, bold vision? What is the thing that is beating your heart, the thing that's coursing through your veins, the thing that is the desire in your body that wants to express? Because each of you has that, or you would not be here. Right? Startups, if you're in a startup, there's something in you that wants something more than what is. Right? When you're a part of a startup, there's something in you that wants something more than what you've experienced. And so your being here tells me that you know that there is something else that wants to birth through you. What is that? Right? What is that? What is your vision? And boldly express it. We have 6 months until the end of the year, or maybe 5 months, something like that, right? 5 or 6 months until the end of the year. What is it what's the move you can make now to start expressing that vision? You may not be able to express the whole thing, but look at what we've done in 6 months. The whole world can be different in 6 months, right? With God, the blink of an eye, the whole world can be different, right? So what is it that you're on fire about? What is it you're ignited about? What is it you desire to do, right? And be about it. Let's start moving. Let's start going. Life is short. It's not promised. It is not promised. It is not promised we'll walk out of this room today, right? It's not promised we'll wake up tomorrow. So whatever your vision is for your life, now is the time to really enjoy it, really look at it, really own it, really claim it, write it down, do another vision board. Look at your vision board we did in January. Where are you on that? What's happening for you as it relates to that, right? Because vision is the first thing. Right? Vision is the very first thing. All great leaders have a vision. There is something they see. There is something they know. There's something they feel. There's something that's pulling them that everyone else can't see. They can feel the excitement, but they can't fully see it. Just before I came in here, I was talking to Joni, and we were just talking about the summit, and I was saying how the summit has cracked open for me, because here's what happened in our summit. We had 2,109 people registered for this. And we had people from all over the globe, the US, the UK, Australia, New Zealand, Norway, Sweden, Germany, Belgium, Slovenia, Costa Rica. Okay? Those are the ones I could count. Okay? We had women from all over the globe registered for this and engaged. I'm getting emails from LinkedIn, from all different places, from all over the world, people saying, oh my God, that was incredible. That was so intense. That was so powerful. I'm watching these and I'm trying to get through this, and it's just, there's just like this energy that's happening because of it. And yes, it was focused on women, but it's really for everybody, right? What's happening is for everybody, because a couple of things. One is women are the one typically who come to church. Look at any of our churches, you will see that, any of our spiritual centers. The other thing is that there's a body of work I already had available to us to use to help support the center, and it was work focused with women. So I decided to go with that as sort of our first hit, like out of the gate, right? And there's been a big response to this. Right? And my vision is, and always has been, for this center, for this place, to be a space where conscious individuals can transform. Whether you want to transform your spiritual life, your personal life, your professional life, whatever it is, it's all one life. But sometimes we enter into it from different ways, right? We are a community of coaches. I have a lot of executive coaches in this space and life coaches who are very seasoned. And there are all kinds of things that we can offer to individuals and meet them where they are. Right? That's my vision for this place, is that we extend beyond these walls and that we truly are a global ministry. We truly are a ministry that's expanded, that yes, we have a wonderful, intimate, in-person experience, and we also have global reach. This is Silicon Valley. Right? It's like there's a thing called the internet, right? It's like, why are we not on that, right? Why are we not using that? And so we'll be looking at how we expand more and more in the days to come. But that is my vision for this place, that we have a great in-person community and we also have a global community, right? Because I love a variety of people. You know that about me. I love a variety of inputs. And it's been so exciting this week to meet people from all over the world who are dealing with all the same things, right? The core issues are the same, core challenges are the same, and yet very different culturally, right? And the more humanity can get that is that we are each unique expressions of God. We're unique expressions of the one. We all have the same core desires, core challenges, core things that are going on, and we express uniquely. And every conflict in the world is over the uniqueness. Every conflict in the world is over how we're unique from each other, right? Versus the ways that we are like each other, right? And so the more that we can be in global community, the more we can be in a variety of people and learn how to be together as a variety in our spiritual community, then we can then contribute to how we change the world, right? And creating a world that really works. Yes? So the first thing in leading your life is, what is your vision? I just shared my vision, right? But what is your vision? And I also want to say, vision is relative, right? So you don't have to have a big, bold, life-changing vision, right? Or world-changing vision. You just need, what is your vision? Your vision could be, I want to be the very best grandparent to my grandchildren that I could possibly be. right? I want to create the most beautiful garden outside my door. That is what I want to do. Right? It doesn't have to be that you're shaking the world. It's like, what is your unique vision? Yeah, are y'all getting that? Yeah, because sometimes we shy away from it because it's like, oh, well, it's not big enough, or I don't want to start a center. I don't want to do, no. Your thing is your thing. You're made uniquely, right? So what is your vision? That's the first thing in leadership. So the second thing, and I just will always, I adore Marianne Williamson, and she has changed my life in so many ways, but when she said in her interview, she said something about people had this sense of her in running for president that who gave her permission to dare to do that? She should have stayed in her lane, just talk about spiritual stuff, right? Who are you to go for the highest job in the land? Who are you to really reach for power? Woman, spiritual woman, right? And so it was really interesting in having that conversation with her. And I entitled her session, who gave you permission? But it applies to all of us, right? It applies to all of us, right? So many times we go through life and we live in these constricted ways and these narrow confines, and we're waiting for someone to give us permission. Right, someone to give us permission to be bigger, someone to give us permission to take a risk, someone to give us permission to start that coaching business, to do that painting, to explore my music, whatever it is, right? We're waiting for someone to give us permission. And so sometimes what happens is, it's not a human being that gives us permission, it is a circumstance or an event. So maybe it's an illness that now all of a sudden we're cracked open going, whoa, wait, what do I really want to be doing? Right? Maybe a relationship breaks down and we're like, whoa, who am I really? What do I want to be doing here? Right? What is, here's what I really want to do. Right? For me, when I lost everything in 2010 after the Great Recession, and I lost my business, my car, my home, everything, right? And at that moment, when I felt like I was at the bottom, that was the moment it's like, oh, start the business that Spirit told me to start 3 years ago, right? And had I done that 3 years ago, I wouldn't be where I am right now, right? But I gave myself permission when I was on my knees, right? When I'm on my knees and devastated, finally it was like, okay, I'm going to do this, yes? And so sometimes it's those things that really give us permission to do the thing that is in our heart. I'm saying to you right now, give yourself permission. Right? There's the power of permission. Just give yourself permission. It is okay for you to shine. It is okay for you to go after your heart's desire. It is okay for you to be brilliant. It is okay for you to take it easy, right? It is okay for you to rest. It is okay for you to do whatever it is. Just give yourself permission. Get yourself off the hook. Yeah? Are y'all following what I'm saying? Yes? Yeah. So thank you, Jenna. Yes. So you just have to give yourself permission. There's so much power in that. And sometimes my mom and I will go to her if there's something that I can feel myself holding myself back about, and she'll do the same thing. But I'll go to her and I'll say, will you please just give me permission to do whatever this thing is? And she'll go, you have permission. I'm like, great, and we both laugh about it, but it's literally, there are times where you felt it, you can feel yourself holding yourself back from something. And so find somebody who will just give you, who'll be your permission buddy. He'll say, you have permission, right? You have permission to shine in this area. Right? You have permission to not do that thing, right? You have permission to do that thing, yes? And so find someone who can be that for you, because sometimes we can't do it for ourselves, right? We can't do it for ourselves. So the power of permission is huge because it keeps you from wasting so much time in really living out your vision, right? And wasting so much time in doing that. And so the third thing I want to talk about is, am I going too fast, y'all? Okay, all right, okay. So the third thing I want to talk about is the power of persistence, right? The power of persistence. There is something to be said for getting up over and over and over and over and over and over again, right? You got to just get up and keep going no matter what. And this is what's interesting. Someone can be incredibly, brilliantly talented, and I've seen this, like total rock star. but they don't have resilience and they don't have persistence. They one thing throws them off and they can't get it back together, right? And someone else could be moderately talented, right? Not as brilliant as the other person, but moderately talented, but they are persistent in going after whatever it is they desire, and they stay on track, and they're knocked down and they get back up, and they knock down, and they get back up, and they keep going, and they win the prize. Not the most talented person. I've seen this everywhere. I've seen this as an artist. I've seen it in business, right? The ability to keep going, the ability to get up, the ability to put one foot in front of the other and keep doing it no matter what is incredibly powerful, because you will get somewhere. You will get somewhere, right? If you're brilliant and you're thrown off and you can't move, you're not going anywhere, right? You're not going anywhere. But to get up, and for my artists in the room, I know you know what I'm talking about, because you have to do it not only in your careers, but you have to do it in terms of practice, right? Rehearsal. If you're a musician, no matter how great you are, a vocalist or artist of any type, you have to practice. Right? You have to persistently build that muscle. You have to persistently practice, persistently do your scales or whatever it is that you do, right? You do your vocal leases, whatever you do, right? There's consistent preparation, consistent training that you have to do every single day, or at least on a consistent basis, to be an artist. And it's the same thing in your life. I want you to look at your life and look at, where am I not being persistent, right? Where am I not walking forward? Where am I inconsistent? Where am I taking 2 steps forward, then a step back? And then 2 steps forward, then 5 steps back. And then 3 steps forward, someone knocks me out of line, and then I sit down for a while, right? Really look at that and look for yourself in, how do I begin to just put one foot in front of the other, in front of the other, in front of the other, and keep moving forward. And it can be small steps, and it can be huge steps. And it can be small and huge and medium, and it can be a variety, but just keep going. Just keep going, yes? And so persistence is a huge factor in being able to lead your life, no matter what, because here's what we know about life. Things happen, right? Shift happens, yes? In all kinds of ways. There's a natural disaster, right? Somebody passes away. I get laid off from my job. All kinds of things happen that we have no control over, right? And the ability to just keep going and to keep going and to keep going is what will allow you to actually create and live the life you say you want, the life that you maybe secretly want, yes? Okay, y'all, my last thing I want to talk about. And I'm moving on down the line because I know that we're going to brunch afterwards, and the hotel wants us to get there by a certain time. Just letting you know. And I want to be a good neighbor. Good neighbor while we're here. So the last thing I want to talk about, so the fourth power. So we talked about the power of vision and the power of permission, the power of persistence, and the power now of presence. The power of presence. And so here's the thing about presence. Presence requires you to be present, right? To be present. So in my corporate work, a body of my expertise is in what's called executive presence or leadership presence. So it's a leader's ability to engage authentically, to communicate and inspire and motivate and engage others, right? Part of it's presentation skills, part of it's how you show up. But one of the things I say with my leaders, first off, is if you are not present, you do not have presence. You do not have presence, right? So many times I see people, they're on their phones, they're doing other stuff, they're not fully present. And what happens? Their presence goes way down, right? It goes way down. Like in the corporate world, I can tell who the true leaders are, who the people with true presence are, because let me put it this way, because there's some leaders who are very distracted. But the leaders who are most powerful holistically, right, are able to be present. They have the mental discipline to be present when it's time to be present, right, versus being sucked into their phone every second, right? And so that is the first thing about having great presence, is you got to show up to the room. You got to show up to the conversation. You have to show up to the person in front of you. You have to show up to what is actually happening, right? And be willing to have your mental attention, your focus be in that space. And that elevates your energy, that elevates your visibility, that elevates your brand when you're someone who's fully present. Have you met people who, when you're with them or in a space with them, you feel them, right? You feel that person. You know that they're locked in, right? Or they're talking to you and they're locked in. And you can also tell when you're talking to somebody and they're not there, right? Or their attention is split, right? You can tell that. Yeah. And so presence is so important. The other thing about presence is it is real because true presence is embodied, right? It's embodied. You can't fake it. You can't perform presence. I mean, you can perform presence. I've seen people do it. People who are charismatic, right? And if you've ever lived in LA, in Hollywood, people do it like, oh, it's so good to see you. Oh my da 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 da, right? That sort of fake, that sort of fake presence. Yeah. And the thing is that presence is really embodied. It's really embodied. It's from the inside out. It is that I'm fully present to myself. I am now fully present to everyone in front of me, right? And I become then this transmitter of energy. People can feel it. People who have great presence draw other people to them, right? People who have great presence can cast a vision and other people want to do that, right? Want to follow that. And so one of the beautiful things in your life is that you have people in your world who rely on you, who may even need you to lead them somewhere, right? And they're looking at how you're leading your life. They're watching how you're leading your life. It may be your children, it may be your grandchildren, it may be siblings, it may be friends, community members, right? But they're looking, they're watching, they're learning through osmosis. And so the more that you are showing up, the more that you are engaged, the more that you are aligned, the more that you are present, the more that you are fully embodying presence, that authentic presence, right? That comes from divine alignment, right? Comes from divine at its core. I don't say this with my clients, but that's what it comes from, right? When you are aligned with the divine, you're lit up, right? And so people around you need to see that. And your life needs you to bring that to it in order to actually create the life that you want. There's so much energy in embodied presence. Yeah? Is this making sense what I'm saying? Yes. And so it then gets out, then it eliminates the performance aspect of it, right? It eliminates the performing. That was one thing that came across a lot in this summit about how frequently we feel like we're performing versus being the thing, right? And how the world rewards performing sometimes versus being, right? But we want to be in a state of being. That present state is a state of pure being, pure alignment, and it has incredible power. So that is what I'm inviting you into your life to really consider for yourself. Where am I showing up in embodied presence, right? Where am I not present? Where am I not focused? Where am I performing? Where am I actually being? Yes, and begin to bring those things into alignment because your life needs you to lead it now more than ever. If you do not lead your life, there are plenty of forces that will lead it for you. And if you are not leading your life and having personal agency, there's no way as a collective that we can actually change anything in this world. There's no way. We are the collective, and the collective is made of individuals, right? So the more personal agency we have, the more we practice that and know that, the more we're the leaders of our life, then we can, as a collective, question other leaders, right? As a collective, we can decide how we're going to move, right? As a collective, we can be more empowered versus abdicating our power, yeah? So that is what I wanted to leave with you today, this sense and feeling and knowing that we are all here for a reason. There is no mistake that we are all in this room. And there's no mistake that we all signed on for a startup in Silicon Valley. There is no mistaking that, right? And so I invite you to really get in the driver's seat, y'all. It's time. It's time. Get in the driver's seat of your life and lead your life. Let's turn within.